Welcome to my Think Python course. In this video, we are going to be working with list in Python. So let's begin.
A list is a data type which stores so many variables. So what do I mean by it stores so many variables? So let's say that A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, C is equal to 3, all like that. So writing these are variables. So a list can actually store everything at the same time. So there are two ways of creating a new list in Python, which is we can say that this is a list. So let us call this list an array like this. So let's say that an array, which is this, we can either use this square bracket, this two square bracket, or using this list like this list function. So this is how to create a list in Python. So this can just be stored like this using these two square bracket like this. So 1, 2, 3 like this. So all this information here, everything is here. So we can just say that A is equal to array. This is indexing. We talked about list indexing in my fourth Python course that we are working with strings. So this is just the same thing as indexing an array in Python. Array is the same thing as list in Python, unless you're talking about other programming language which they are different. So I'm not going to be explaining the difference between an array and a list, but in Python they are actually the same thing. So we can say that A is equal to array of 0, B is equal to let me actually clear this off because we've assigned it already. So B is equal to array of 1, and C is equal to array of 2. So index starts with 0 and also ends with -1. So if I'm going to be saying that C is equals to array of -1, it means I'm talking to at the end of the list. So if I should print C like this, we are going to get 3 as our output, because -1, according to slicing in Python, it's just the end value. So by saying that C is equals to array of 2, which simply means we have 2 as our last value, which is this index of 0, 1, 2. So that is how it works. So if I should print A also, we're going to get the same thing, which is 1. If I should print B like this, we're going to get 2, which is this value. But what if we don't want to print these values like this? We want to read this. So we're going to be working with for loop in this section like this. We're going to be working with for loop and while loop by looping through this array and get each values, assigning one variable to each variables inside this array. So we can simply say that for elements like this, for element in array, we can print element. So this is the same thing as for each element. Okay, let me say that this is number. For each number, just to make you guys understand, but according to the naming convention, we use element, we use I, we use J, but we're going to be getting over that soon. So for num in array, print num. So which simply means for each number in this array, print each number. It means that this num is equal to this, then it's going to go to the next value. Since we are working with for loop, then this num is going to be 2 again, num is going to be 3, and that is how it works. So if we run this code now, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, which is this value. You can store so many data types in Python, this is the difference between an array and a list in Python. If you're working with other programming language, as an array, it only takes one data type, which is 1, 2, 3, like this. But if we're talking about list, like this is the difference between list. It can take so many data types, different data types. It can take hello, it can take 1, like this, it can take 2, it can take 2.3. So let me clear this. So these are different data types. This is a list, an integer, and a float. So this is different between an array and a list. So an array can also take a just same data type all through, while a list can take a different data type. So that is just the difference. Don't get confused about an array and a list. So if I should say that for num in array, so changing this array back to list now, we're going to get hello 1 and 2.3. You see, this is the output we got, hello 1, 2.3. So that is how Python works with list. Now let me show you how to use the list function in Python. So we have this L, so let us name the variable to be L. L is equal to list, like this. This is a list function. So let's print L, like this. So we have this output, which is an empty list. So to add a list inside a list, which is this is the list function, you can just say that 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. So by printing this, so let us get the output. We have this output as 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't see any reason of creating it like this than just to create it like this, like this. So you can also create it like this, which is the same output. But the use of the list is that by using this list function, you can add a range value inside this list function by saying that this is a range of 1 to 5, since we are creating an ordered list. So the range of 1 to 5, I explained range in my third Python course, which is working with numbers in Python. We said this range, which we have begin, the end, -1, and also the step. But the step is optional, which is default value is actually 1. So we only need the begin and the end for now, unless you are solving a problems in Python. So if I should print L is equals to a list of a range 1 to 5, then print L, we are going to get 1 to 4 as our output. So let me run this code. We got 1 to 4 as our output, which is just the same thing because we are creating an ordered list in Python. So let us move to let me create a new list in Python. Let me call this fruit, like this. Fruit is equal to so I want to loop through this fruit list like this. I want to loop through this fruit and I want to write something in front of this fruit. So I can just say that for fruit, in fruit, like this. Now look at the variable name. We have for each fruit, in fruit, this fruit list. So it means that we are assigning each fruit to be equal to this fruit to be equals to this fruit, all the way up to the end of the fruit list. So I want to see that print like this, fruit plus is a fruit. Now let us try to get this output. We have so let me run this code. We have this output as orange is a fruit, apple is a fruit, mango is a fruit. And that is just it for Python. Let me actually explain this code. We have for fruit in fruit, this fruit, a new variable, which is the variable name. So this is the syntax for each element in a sequence. So that is the syntax for each fruit in fruit. Print this fruit, because this fruit is this fruit. also this fruit, and also this fruit. So fruit is a fruit. So we printed apple is a fruit, orange is a fruit, mango is also a fruit. So how can we loop through a list using while loop? How can we do this? So let us have this variable. We have this I to be equal to 0. We know that inside while loop there must always to be a condition for while loop. So while, like this, while I is less than the length of what? So let me create a new variable. Let me call it number is equal. I want to add 1 to 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 all the way up to 5 like this. So I will explain this code later when I write this. So while let me make this number, but it's going to get you confused. So let me just leave it as I. While I is less than length of number, we want to add each number in this. So we increment I plus equals to 1. Then what are we going to be printing? We're going to be using slicing here. Firstly, I want to print all the numbers out first. So I like to comment this code here and put pass. So pass. I think it works like this. So let me run this Python code. We have the apple as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to add each numbers to the number. So we are going to be creating a new variable, which is, let us call it j is equals to 0. So I'd like to make this j plus equal to number, each number inside this. So we print j. So let me print j. We have the output as 15. Why is it 15? So let us try to sum it up. The formula is 5 times 6 divided by 2, which is 5 times 3, which is equals to 15. Yeah, the code is correct. Well, so we have I is equals to 0, j is also equals to 0. While I is less than the length of number, j plus equals to this number I, we are using slicing here. So for each of this number inside this range function like this, so this is 1 to 5. So I start from index of 0. Since I is equal to 0 here, we are incrementing I. If you don't understand it, go back to my for loop and my while loop in Python and try to understand how increment works in Python and also slicing. So we printed j here, which is we get our output as 15 like this. So let me try and give another example for you guys to understand. So let me create a new variable. So let me say that num is equal to 1 to negative 5, right? So what I want to do in this code is that I want to add all these negative numbers. I want to get their value. So adding this negative number, how are we going to be writing this code? So let us try to create a new variable. Let us say that k is equal to 0 like this, while k is less than the length of number like this number variable. So while k is less than the length of number, I want to add this negative number. So it means that there will be a condition inside this code. So if num of k is less than 0, then what are we going to be doing? So let me create a new variable n to be equal to 0, like this. So I'm going to be saying that n plus equal to num of k. So we increment k plus equal to 1, print n. So let me run this code. So we have the output as negative 15 because minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, all the way up to minus 5 is equal to negative 15. Let me let you guys understand this code. So we have this num is equal to 1 to 5. This is a positive integer. I even forgot to write 4 here, but it doesn't matter. We are only adding the negative numbers. So we have this num to be equal to 1 to 5, and also the negative number to be equal to negative 1 to negative 5. So we create a variable k is equal to 0, n is also equal to 0, while k is less than the length of this num. So the length of this num is actually 10. The length of this num is 10. So we look through this num. So we check if this number, each number is less than 0. Of course, negative number are always less than 0. So if they are less than 0, add this. So this is just the same thing as saying that n plus num of k, which is slicing it. We are indexing each numbers inside this array. So this is num of k, which is num of 0, since k is equals to 0. So this is 1, but 1 doesn't satisfy this condition, so it's going to start with negative 1. So n is equals to n plus negative 1, which is equals to, we have negative 1 as our first value. So the next value will be negative 1, negative 2, which is equals to negative 3, negative 3, negative 3, negative 6, negative 6, negative 4, which is equals to negative 10, and negative 10, negative 5, which is equals to minus 15. So we increment this key for us to keep looping inside this array till it ends the end of the list. So we print in, we got negative 15 as our output. So I want you to write the code now to add the numbers of all these positive integers inside this list. So you can pause this video and try to solve the problem. Then I'm gonna give the solution now. So now back to this code. I'm thinking maybe I should clear this. No, let me just leave it for you guys to understand. So let me create a new variable by just saying that let me use another variable name. We are using the same list, which is this num, like this. So let me just try and make it like this: a and b to be equal to 0, 0. So while a is less than the length of num, right, we want to add the positive integers. So we all know that all the positive integers inside this array are greater than 0. So that should be the condition. So if num of k is greater than 0, right, they are all greater than 0, right? So if we have 0 here, like this, so you can make this greater than equal to 0, but we don't have 0, so let me just clear this. So you have to understand coordination well to be able to write programs in Python. So if num of k is greater than 0, we want to add each values. So we can see that b plus equal to num of k, right? This. So I'm using k here. I have to use a. I assigned another one, so I have to use a. So b plus equals to num of a. So then we increment a plus equals to 1, print b. So let me print this code. So we have the output as 15. So that is how while loop, for loop works with list. There are more to them, but I'm not going to be showing everything in this video. Once you keep solving more problems in Python, you're going to understand how list works and also for loops, while loop. Right now, I'm still learning Python. Yeah, programming is very deep. You can't learn it finish. So let me just move to list method in Python. So we've talked about how to increment list in Python. So we have so many methods in Python, like this um, all these lists that we are writing. There is a method or a function to do this in just a second. So let me just move to list methods in Python. So let me see that a subject like this, subject list. Now let me print subject like this. So list methods. I have my output as mathematics, English, and also physics. But what if I want to add a value to this list? You might be thinking of doing like this. Let me add chemistry. So let's try to run this Python code and let's get the output. We got an error, can only concatenate list, not string, to list. But you can actually add this by just making this chemistry a list. So if we add this, we have mathematics, English, physics, and also chemistry. But instead of writing this code, there is a method to do this for you. So this is subject.append. We are appending chemistry to this list. So when we print chemistry, or when we print subject, we're going to get the same value. So append add value to the end of the list. So we've talked about append. It appends value to the list. We can append so many things. Basic electricity, like this. So let me print subject. I'm going to get basic electricity and also chemistry. So it appends to the end of the list. If I copy this, move this up here, like this, and try to run this code, we're going to get basic electricity first, chemistry, then the last. So Python is an interpreter language. It follows code step by step. So append add value to the end of the list. So what about pop? What is pop? So let us work with pop. Subject pop. Pop doesn't take any value. So if I try to print subject like this, I'm printing numbers. I don't know where it is. So if I try to print subject, we're not going to get chemistry. We're going to get only mathematics, English, physics, and also basic electricity. So what pop actually does is that it removes the end, the last element of the list. If I should copy this again and try it once again, we are not going to get basic electricity anymore. We're going to get mathematics, English, and physics. If I should paste it again, we are going to get only mathematics and English. So that is just what pop does in Python. So we also have one function, so which is we can also insert a value in a list. So let me insert chemistry. We've inserted chemistry already. We appended chemistry, sorry about that. So let me try and insert economics inside my subject list. So this can be done by using the subject dot insert like this. So this insert takes two arguments, which is the first one is an integer, which is the index you wish to insert a list. This is it up here, and also the second option, which is the object itself, which is the element. So let me say that I want to insert this value. I want to insert economics to my index 3. So which is this physics. So it means that physics is going to shift left, then we're going to have an economics here, then physics next. So let me insert it at index 2, which is 0, 1, 2. So let me insert it at index 2, then the object itself, economics, like this. So let me print subject. We are going to get economics. Sorry, we are not getting physics because we pop 3 times here. So let me get it again. So we have a mathematics, English, economics, and also physics. So that is what insert does in Python. When you keep practicing, your brain is going to master all these things. They are very easy. It just depends on practice, determination, and persistence. So let's move on with Python methods, list methods in Python. Sorry about that. So let me create a new list in Python by just saying that what kind of create? Let me create a course like this. So I want to extend this course and also subject. So if I should try to extend something like this, let me see that I want to extend subject dot extend with course. So if I should print subject like this, so we have a mathematics, English, economics, physics, computer, petroleum, medicine. I spelled medicine wrong. Medicine. So let me run the code. We have computer, petroleum, and medicine. So it means that we extend this subject and also this course inside this course inside the subject list. So let me call this courses because we have so many courses here. So this is just the output. So let's move on to list in Python. Let me create a new list. Let me call this numbers is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to sum up all these numbers like this. So let me print. We're going to be using a function in Python. We're going to be using the sum function, which is sum numbers. We are summing all the numbers. Let me print my subject. I want my subject to be shown. Subject. So we have 15 because this is the sum of all the numbers. So let me comment it here. Add all numbers in an array. So what if this is a string? We are going to get an error. I don't want to try that. We're going to get an error. So we have other functions also. We have print main of numbers. This is going to take our list, the list itself, main of numbers. So print max of numbers like this. So let me comment this and also comment this. Get the lowest number in an array, and also get the largest number in an array, right? So let me run this code. We're going to get 1 and 5. So if we have something like -1, 0, to know that we have -1 as the lowest, and also the largest is 5. Even though if they are unordered, like let me give this -2, let me give this 200. So let me run this code. We have the largest as 200 and the lowest as -2. It doesn't matter if they are ordered or not. So to sort this array, so there is a function which is also called sorted, like this. Then this is going to take our numbers like this. So let me print the sorted of numbers. We got -2, -1, 0. So this sorted actually sorts the numbers. If you want to reverse this, reverse is equal to true. By default, the reverse is equal to false. So we're going to get from 200 all the way up to -2. So let me run this code. We got 200 all the way up to -2. So let me make this another one like this, because I'm uploading this code, so I have to comment everything just to let you guys understand how it works. So this is going to sort the array in ascending order. So sort array in descending order. Now that is how it works. So let us move to another one. If we are counting something in our array, we want to count this. So let us say that we want to count a number. Numbers.count. Let's say that we have another 4 here. We have 3, another 3 here. We have 2, and also we have 5, right? So this count will take the element in the array. So let me print numbers.count 3. This will give me the output as the amount of 3 that is inside the list. So we only have 2 3s inside this array. We only have 4 or so on. So let me just to let you guys know that it is really counting the array. So let me input 4. We're going to get 3 because we have 4 3s inside the array. So that is how the occurrence am I getting this occurrence wrong? Occurrence of an element in an array. So this is how it works. So let's move to another method in array. We have so many methods for list in Python. I'm not going to be treating all, so I'm just going to be treating the useful ones inside this video. You can discover them yourself by saying that I'll print numbers dots. So you're gonna get all these methods inside array. So we have one which is sort. Sort works like sorted, but I will give you difference between a function and also a method. So this sorted is a function. It returns a value, but this is a method. Numbers dot sort. This doesn't return any value. So numbers has been sort. It has been saved directly to the numbers. So even though I print numbers like this, we are going to get the numbers sorted. So we have -2. Even though you go back, you change this to 100 like this and print it, you are still going to get it sorted every time sorted. So that is how sorts work. So it probably works like sorted, but doesn't return any value. So it saved the list as we sort it like that. So let us move to another one in Python, because I'm going to be working with more functions in Python. So let me just comment this like this. I don't want it to be running. I want my original list to be running. So which is this. So let me talk about remove method in Python. So if I should say that print numbers dot remove like this, remove. I want to remove. Let me say that I want to remove 0 from this list. So let me run this code. We are going to get none because it doesn't return anything. So I have to clear this and just print numbers. So let me run this code. So here we have 0 and here we don't have 0. It means that it has removed 0. So instead of using the remove method, you can also use this keyword, which is delete. Delete numbers. That is, if you know the index of the number. So 0 is at index 1. So if I should say that remove the numbers of numbers 1. So this is the index of 1, which is 0. So if I should print numbers, so I have to comment this because it will probably remove 1. So let me run this code. We got same thing using the delete keyword. So let me talk about index. So print numbers dot index of 5. I commented this delete numbers because it deletes one of my elements and it's just gonna get me confused. So print numbers of index 5. So it means that this is the element. I want to get the index of this my element inside this list. So if I should run this code, we're going to get let me count this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5 is at index 8. And this is just what I'm going to be showing you about list inside this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. We are going to be working more on Python, especially all these data types in Python in our future course. So thanks for watching. Bye.